Welcome, everyone. We are going to get started here in a few moments. Just going to let a few people trickle in here as we go. Cool. Give it about 30 seconds and we'll get started. Excited to share this time with you all today. Cool. Let me get this screen share started and we'll kick it off. I do not expect to go the full 45 today. We're going to make sure that it's impactful and we'll get to the next points here. All right. First things first, just to make sure you made it to the right place, we are in a from evidence to defense, a faster way to go through discovery. I'm hopeful today that we are able to see workflows that you can participate in at Rev. If you're a defense lawyer, you know a lot of it is after you've done the evidence review and moving further into what documents you start preparing for court. So we want to make sure we talk about that today, show you some of the great ways Rev's helping in those areas. Okay. We'll take the introductions, we'll walk through those workflows, and then I'll open it up for some questions at the end. Okay. Who are you talking to? My name's Hunter Saltzgiver. I'm a customer success manager here at Rev. I work alongside defense firms specifically in order to help them find these workflows that I'll be sharing with you today. If there's something that you have to produce using your files, your starting point there, whether it's audios, pictures, images, or really just about anything you want to bring to us outside of a Cellbrite file we're going to be able to handle. We want to be able to make those into those documents you present in court or share with the other side. Okay. Feel free to contact me after the session if you have interest in one of our custom plans or something I said here today. I absolutely want to follow up. It's the joy of my time here at Rev, spending time unlocking and unblocking our customers. Okay. When we go into our environment today, we're going to talk about criminal workflows. Workflows are essentially ways that you can prompt against your files, your evidence, your discovery, your matters, and get yourself a document that is workable and usable to present outside of Rev. Okay. Or maybe it's sharing with a teammate within Rev. We'll talk about that too. Here are just a few ideas of workflows that you can produce within Rev. I'll show you how to do some of these and more. We'll literally just click into this and take one of these prompts over. But first, let me dive into Rev and we'll show you a little bit of how we access all of our files and get to the Insights tool. All right. Here's my Rev account. Just a brief orientation, right? We have a lot of different workflows present for you just right here. You click on Create an Evidence Overview. We're going to ask you for those files and get right started on it. Okay. We do have integrations, especially for my defense firms. I want to point out we have an integration with Clio. We know that's one of many CMSs, but we have a large client base that uses Clio. If you use Clio, let's help you with that. Okay. We'd love to do so. Sweet. Recent files right down here. I get to hop back into my previous workflows. And over here on the left, we have an insights modal. And that's what I'll be using mostly today. This is where we start to cross-analyze our files multiple at once. You know, I could just click in on insights because all my sessions are saved, but let's start a new session for the purposes of this demo. I'm going to go into our global demo content. I'm going to choose a case that I do know about from prepping this time, but we're going to act as if we don't. And we're just sitting down like anyone else would be, first time on the job, just trying to figure out what we're looking at. We're going to take a look at a use of force case here. Okay. All right. I'm going to select all those files and click on Analyze. Analyze is going to take me straight into my Insights modal. Everything we're participating in here is secure. That's why you'd want to bring files to Rev. We also have some ways to circumvent some security, some sensitivity settings for those things outside of Rev. And right now I'm only looking at these PDFs and these videos. Okay. We're bringing the power of LLMs straight into this secure environment, and we're pointing it only at these files. You know, outside of Rev, you have a lot of ways to get some AI to interact with your material, but it comes back with answers that you have no way of understanding where those answers were drawn from. Rev does an incredibly good job of citing our source. And so that's the value of asking a question here. I'm going to limit the AI because I don't want a huge long response. I'm just going to ask in a paragraph or less. What is this case about? Now, I will obviously go through a lot of different workflows on this call. I want to do an evidence inventory. I want to do an evidence overview. I want to identify the key pieces of evidence. I'm going to do all of that. But first, just let me get an idea on what's going on here. Okay. It looks as if, right, David Curry, age 21, struck the mother of his child, ripped off her wig, and pointed a Glock at her. Okay. The officer saw this. He began to run. As he was running, he paused. The officer behind him could not stop in time, ran into him, correct? And then he actually fell and he was sent to the hospital. Okay. Now that I know a little bit of what this is about, I want to dive into the specific files. Okay. We do have these workflows down here for you, and I would recommend selecting criminal because we're going to serve you most of the criminal defense workflows that we have. You can use these workflows inside of this same exact chat session. But what I've done over here on the left is pre-bake all of these workflows so that we don't have to wait on responses or do a whole lot of scrolling. Okay. Before I hop into some of these other workflows, I do want to touch on the fact that you can create your own workflows as well. If there's a prompting element to what you do outside of Rev, please bring it inside of Rev. Trust the secure environment, get cited sources, verify. Okay. When you program this, it's actually available to any of the other seats in your account. And so you, as an admin, can kind of develop some organizational logic to help further other people. Each of these citations is a cited source that takes you directly to where that exists, either in the audio or video, which it's drawing from. Okay, different numbers, different citations. What I'll be demoing today a lot of is the ability to draft a document. Okay, Rev now can take these responses, and whereas we previously might have had to copy, paste into something external, we now can draft a document from this response, get over here an editable, exportable, and shareable piece of writing that we can come through and edit completely, undo our edits, right? And export in a few different fashions. Okay, now that I know what this case is about, and I know that I have the ability to draft these things, I want to start working on these workflows. The first thing I want to do is I want to create a file manifest. This is different than an evidence overview. Yes, I have not saved and I will leave anyway. This is a little bit different than an evidence overview. This is a little bit more of a chart, right? A tabled output. We can use tabled outputs to generate files as well. Okay. Each one of these is examined in detail. Okay. Sweet. If I were to draft this into a document, it absolutely would create a document over here that includes these tables, the bold, the whole thing. Okay. Let me go over to our evidence overview to show you how it could be different. It's a little bit more of a paragraph output. And this might be how you work more likely than the other way. Okay. Each place has its purpose. After we do the evidence overview, we want to identify inconsistencies, as this is really where I start to dig into the meat of this case, right? Okay, now we know what we're looking at, but what exactly is happening and what are the inconsistencies that I'm able to see here, right? Well, in one file, it's telling me that the officer use of force narrative section officer, date and time, sweet. Ah, the source quotes. Very important to see. And when I go over here, I can obviously click in and understand exactly where those came from. This is excellent. I need to know the inconsistencies so that I can point out that one thing said on one day is different than another thing said on another day. And I want to present this in court so that we can understand together why everything's not lining up. Sweet. Okay. The citations here are included. I can click in on those citations and see them here. I am going to go ahead and export as a PDF with citations to show you exactly how we create this manifest at the end. Okay, so here's our citations spotting up, and now we have our reference material here. Okay. We always want to be able to show you if that's something that you want to achieve, where these files were referenced. That's hyper important. But maybe you're delivering this outside of Rev and you don't want those citations, okay? Just fine. Cool. Let's get back into Rev. Now I know exactly what my evidence overview is. I know that there's inconsistencies, right? I need to actually just prep for maybe a motion to suppress certain pieces of evidence. I need to go ahead and maybe start thinking about my opening statement. Let's go ahead and see what a few of these things look like. And before I go there, actually, we do have a really good case chronology, right? This would give us a point by point, moment by moment outline of anything it found in that evidence, right? And it's going over multiple files at once. So if multiple files are referenced, we'll see those things here. Okay, sweet. I love these motions to suppress. I think they're great. We can create so many different types of motions. I know you guys know as defense lawyers that there are a lot out there. Okay. I even think it's cool to use Rev in some ways that you might not consider. Now, you're a professional. I met with a guy yesterday who said, it feels like Rev's trying to do my job a little bit for me. No, we want to get you there. We want you to do the finishing polish, okay? So I went ahead and typed draft. And anytime you put draft inside of a prompt down here, it will draft something over here in your generated files. My file's saved for me. Let's go ahead and see what it wants me to make as my opening statement. Okay, the introduction theme. This is a case about a collision, not a crime, right? So we're saying essentially that, yeah, the guy just couldn't stop on time. That's not a crime. Okay, call and response. And if I think this is significant, maybe during my opening statement, I even want to show this video, I can actually pull this as a clip to get things ready for my opening statement. Okay. Where did the clips go? Exactly where our generated files live. Okay, so any of the results from any of these sessions that we create will be available here in the left hand or in the right hand sidebar. Okay, these are all shareable between yourself and others within your account, and everything is restricted at Rev before you decide otherwise. That's part of our security mind. Okay. I even thought it's interesting a workflow to create an objection log to prep yourself for the things that the other side might say and what you can reference to say, absolutely, this is what we are objecting for. Because this exists in our evidence, we are objecting. Okay. All of these that I've shown you today as outputs are available through your workflow library in the criminal defense tab. I encourage you to upload any and all of your evidence matter. Yesterday, I helped a lawyer oh my goodness, just understand and summarize 400 photos. So we know that you get a lot on your plate. In order to inspect around 50 files at once, you'll need to be on one of our custom plans, which we support really good technology for and encourage you to check out. Okay. This is my demo today. I really want you to understand all of the workflows that are available to you, everything from opening statement to closing argument. While I'm leaving it open for questions, I do want to show you pretty quickly how we can do this live today on the call. Draft a closing argument. Let's bring that right over to our insights where we have everything already here. It does not matter that there's already a response up there. I created all these for the demo, but we can do them right in line. And I'm just going to ask for it to help me with a closing argument, right? That highlights the reasonable doubt. And because draft is in this, it will break out a generated file and automatically begin drafting that document as well. Okay. Now, this will take just a moment to load because it is going through each and every file, ensuring that it's applying really good logic and understanding. And then it'll pop out right into an editable document for me. Were there questions that we have for the group while this is running? It'll start to populate here in just one moment. And we want to make sure that we reach the question portion of this demo.
Yeah, thanks, Hunter. We'll go ahead and open it to Q&A. We do have a couple questions here. The first one is, what are the different tiers that Rev offers?
Oh, great. Well, we have a pro tier and we have a custom tier, and I would encourage you to check out each. Custom is a contracted tier. We'll link you with a salesperson. They'll consult with you. They'll figure out what your needs are and make sure that it's the right choice for you to move forward. And We do power our custom plans with a lot more juice, right? We have better AI logic towards those plans that we can handle a lot more files at once. Um, but they're both great options for you. I would really encourage you to reach out. Either after this webinar, we'll follow up with a recording or something to that effect, or please reach out to me. I'm here for you in that way.
Perfect. Thank you. Our second question is, where is our data stored and who has access to it?
Yeah, we are SOC 2 Type 2 compliant. We do not train on contracted data. We don't send any of this data out for training to the LLMs that I'm using here inside of Rev. We're stored locally in the US on Amazon servers, have the ability to be HIPAA and CGIS and all those things that you want to hear when you're thinking about security. I even suggested once you're in the same account, we have a lot of security about, keeping it private to the per user level until you decide to share it out. And anytime you delete a file off of Rev, it is gone forever. We don't save or keep anything in duplicate in transit or at rest. So it's one of the great things about Rev being something that started in 2010 and developed naturally is that, we didn't buy or piece or fabricable this together in a way that's not secure. It was all built in-house by our own programs. And so we're able to keep those security promises and host data in the right way.
Perfect.
Cool.
Thank you. And then our last question is, what is the turnaround for human transcription and captions?
I love that. Let me show you just briefly here. This is the closing statement that we drafted while I'm answering this last question. For human transcription, we are incredibly fast. You should expect even longer files to return to you in just a matter of a few hours, definitely same day. For anything to drift over into the next day would be odd. I would ask for you to reach out to me in that instance. For captions, it's a slight bit different, but it should be around a 24-hour period for just about any of size file. And when you're ordering AI with Rev, we have the ability to give you AI captions and a captions editor as well. So I know a lot of times my defense lawyers create clips. They want those clips to have captions and they want to be able to kind of control what captions are shown for emphasis purposes. And I help my lawyers do that all the time. So if captions is your interest or prerogative, let me know. We can help you navigate those. For transcription, it's a same day, 100% accurate service.
Perfect. And we did have another question come in.
Certainly.
I work on a desktop at office and then go home to continue. At home, I have to start fresh. I looked for the cloud but can't find it. Guide me how I can flow from office to home without generating a new case profile at home.
Yeah, I love that question. Generally, over here, let me share my screen here again. So we're talking apples to apples. If you're looking to return to any of your files, they should be here on this sidebar. If you're talking about participating at work on like the web platform and then you go home and you're just on your phone app or iPad app, we are working on creating this modal, everything I've shown you today, more accessible inside of your phone app. There will be an app overhaul in the next few months, and it's going to delight people by bringing that over to your cell phone. But all of these sessions save. They're all here for me to return to after the fact. And if I generate these files, they're also available in generated files folders that we have specific to the user. Right. And so here's some of the files that I've generated today. Okay. In addition to just porting those files over, these things live right down here in your recent files. So if you've clicked in on it once or you recently uploaded it, it should be available right here in your recent files. Okay. So we save the Insight sessions. There is a slight bit difference between what's happening on your app versus on your web platform. We're working on that. We're going to bring that together. And then any files that you upload, they're available right here inside of your recent files. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Hunter.
Cool.
If there are no other questions coming in, we can go ahead and conclude. Thank you all for joining. We'll be sending the recording of this webinar shortly, but please reach out if you have any other questions. Thank you so much.